All right. How's it going, everybody? How's everybody's brains from last week? Yeah, so we're going to do it again, but we're going to have some hands-on stuff this time. We're going to guys show you some lectures, and this time I'm going to take a little bit of a back seat. We're going to let Gavin go for this. Gavin's been one of my proteges for the past 2 years. Just gaffed his first feature. He did it in Oklahoma. The reason why we shot in Oklahoma is because they have features, or they have incentives, sorry. So we shot a feature out there because they have incentives, and that's the only reason they shot in Oklahoma. So these are important. It's important for the work in this industry. It's important for things that we do, TV shows. So yeah, just something to keep thinking about. Gavin, I'll let you kind of just go over the beginning.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Gavin, like you just said. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about lighting. For you guys, I've decided to break lighting down into a couple of different steps. First, we're just going to get out of our way, defining our terms. There's a lot of terminology in lighting that you kind of have to get your head around before you start to understand the concepts. So first, we're going to go into that. Then we'll talk about 5 characteristics of lighting. There are 5 distinct characteristics of lighting that I think you should understand before you attempt to try and light something yourself. We're going to talk a little bit about safety. We're going to talk about some DIY lighting, some stuff you guys can do on your own without the big expensive stuff that we have. And then we're going to let you guys get your hands on a little bit, just learn about the kind of stuff that we use. We're going to start defining our terms. So what is light, guys? I know, difficult stuff here on session 2, but we're going to talk a little bit about it because I think it's important to understand it on a fundamental level. Light is waves of electromagnetic radiation. It is electromagnetic radiation moving its way through physical space. It's bouncing off of objects, and it's going into your eye. What is the visible light spectrum? The visible light spectrum is the amount of light that you are able to see. The certain wavelengths of light, the patterns that are able to go into your eye, and it turns into colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Those are all different wavelengths along this spectrum. Now we're going to talk about a little bit of physics. The inverse square law. The inverse square law, It looks really complicated, but all that it really says with the key at the bottom is that intensity is proportional to distance from the center of the light. Now what does that mean? That means that these lights in the sky are working at a certain intensity. And when you're shining them at me at this distance, they have a certain amount of illumination on my face. But if the distance between us becomes greater, the lights have less effect, right? So the further away your light is from your subject, the more powerful it has to be to give that same effect, which is important to understand when lighting, because how illuminated something is a big part of what we're doing. We're trying to control as much as we can how bright and how dark things are. This is a really good, Cory grabbed this graphic off the internet, and I really like it because it shows just very simply that as things get further away, the light has more space that it's spreading out in, but there isn't technically more light coming out here. So it has less effect as you go on. You'll see twice is 1/4, 1/9, and 1/16. What is a stop? Let me ask just to the audience, somebody shout out. Did you guys learn a little bit about stops last time in session 1? Did they talk a little bit about it? Yes? Copy that. Okay. All right, so I'll just go over what's necessary for us. A stop of light is a measurement in photography that we use. And basically what you guys need to know is that a stop is, if you want to go up a stop, you double the amount of light. If you want to go down a stop, you have it, making the image brighter or darker. What is contrast? We're going to talk about contrast is the variation between the lightest light and the darkest dark in a scene. So I wish we had more images for this.
We will.
We've got some more in there.
We'll go through all these afterwards. So we're just kind of introducing you to like all the different types of terms. So we're trying to kind of speed through this so we can get more hands-on stuff. So
yeah.
Yep.
Three-point lighting. Three-point lighting is a very standardized version of lighting that you'll see all over the place in photography and film, and it's consisting of 3 different things. Your key light, which is your brightest light working in a scene. Your fill light, which manages the shadow created by your key light. And then your backlight, which separates your subject from the background. And the whole reason that we do that is to create depth. So what we're doing when we're creating film or we're creating a photo is we're taking a two-dimensional image of a three-dimensional world. And if you're not careful, that two-dimensional image looks flat. It looks boring. So introducing three-point lighting is a very easy way to create that depth because your key light creates the most amount of light, which means it also creates the most amount of shadow on a face, which kind of gives the effect that you exist in real space, that there is like depth to you. And then the fill light manages that shadow to control how hard or soft the shadow is. And then the backlight separates you from the subject, making it seem like there is layers to the world that you're in. So yeah, that's three-point lighting. What is a key light? I kind of talked a little bit about what a key light is. It's your strongest light in a room, and it determines where your brightest highlights are and where your darkest shadows are. Yeah. And then I also talked about fill light. Now the thing about a fill light is it doesn't necessarily have to be a light that takes power and shoots light out of a fixture. It can just be something as simple as, you know what, I'll grab it for you. Because I think it's good to show. When lighting a scene, something as simple as just a piece of styrofoam here can be used to redirect that light back onto Cory, you want to stand in for me really quick? Just him with that, and then it kind of has a little bit more light to him on this side without it. Might be subtle to the naked eye, but
we are pretty 360 lit in
we
here.
are, yeah.
So, but that's a thing we were talking about too. We got that from Home Depot. So
yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think this kind of like silver stuff costs a little bit more, but still at the end of the day, it's a very cheap tool.
Yeah, most of the time they'll come with like installation. They'll come with the shiny side there. So, but just things to be mindful of.
Yeah, and then we can also talk about negative fill. So if you can imagine that a white piece of styrofoam would bounce light back into a subject and create more light, something that is something that is black would do the opposite. It's going to create less fill on that side. So if this is my key light and this is my fill side, having something black here that eats that light up, that's called negative fill. Because obviously, yeah, black absorbs light and white bounces light. So that's kind of the idea there. So yeah, let me just shout out to the audience. Am I going too fast? Am I just like burning through this? Are we cool?
Anybody questions so far?
Yeah,
Anybody?
questions. Anybody have a thought, a comment? Who doesn't like the shirt I'm wearing? Just anything. I'm sorry.
Give 'em a-
Yeah, I'll keep pushing through. And then backlight. I did quite a lot of talking about backlights already, but yes, the entire point of it is that we're trying to create that separation, create that three-dimensional space. If the back is lit different than the front, and it feels like you're really there in real space. Diffusion. Diffusion is the process of scattering light through a transparent surface or reflecting it off of a bounce. The point of diffusion is that we're trying to create soft light. So there is a very key difference. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So see how hard and bright that is? See how it scatters the light? Gives it kind of a nice effect. That's another thing. I literally pulled these from the ceiling and put a little platform on it. We use it. So don't think that you need to have all this. You just need to have some ingenuity.
Yeah, that's industrial ceiling lights with very cheap like plastic and just black tape around the sides. Super, super easy, super, super simple. But yeah, because when we're trying, so a little bit more about diffusion. Diffusion is not only, it's often called like hard light and soft light. Like we don't want a hard light because it's not very flattering and it creates very hard shadows. But I feel like a thing that I started to focus on when I was writing this lesson was that it's really more about the size. So at the end of the day, if you have a large light source, that is going to create softer light. And if you have a small light source, it's going to create harder light. And it's going to give you those two different effects like we just saw with the tube.
It's one of the reasons why the sun is so bright when you're outside and it's so harsh. So like get yourself like a phone, look at the reflection of it, and it's like this big. So what we do is we take that and make it bigger. It takes it and wraps, but that is one of the reasons why it is such like a harsh source is because of the distance that it is away from the earth, which is I don't even
93 million miles.
Yeah, 93 million miles away. So it's huge there, but since it's so far away, it's there. And then we'll tell you a little bit about why I like shaping light when we go to take a light source, like the shadow side, the hard side. But that's just little things to think about in the nature.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of the nature of light. And I found it really interesting that, yeah, even though the sun is such a huge thing, because of its relative size to us, it gives us kind of that harsh light. So I thought that was really interesting. What is spill? Spill is a term used by filmmakers to describe unwanted light coming from a fixture. It's not usually, it's not like such a hard and fast thing where we like know exactly what, spill is like, it's just any unwanted light. So if a light is giving you something you don't want, that's spill. I don't think any of our lights are technically spilling.
Right there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Actually, yeah, these lights are kind of spilling onto here because of the way they're tilted, and it's affecting what we want here. So it's just a general, broad term.
And one way that we would have gotten rid of that is to turn these on, but we want to make sure you guys see the projector.
Exactly. What is a modifier? A modifier is any accessory placed between the light and the subject that alters the light. So if you see these lights I have on the ceiling, the soft boxes on them are a modifier. You see the piece of lighting equipment that he had in front of that red tube, that's a modifier. This is a modifier. The bounce board is a modifier. All of those things fall into the catch-all term modifier. There's also things like barn doors and scrims, gels, and rags. Those are like higher-end equipment. Barn doors help shape the light just on the light. You probably have seen those before. We'll talk about scrims, gels, and rags later. Beam angle. So beam angle, very simply put, you can think about it in two ways. It's just the way that the light spills out of the fixture, and describe it in two ways, spot or flood. If it is less than 25 degrees coming out of the light, it's a spot, and if it's more than 25 degrees, it's a flood. So are you hitting a big source or are you hitting a small source? Anything to say about spot?
Yeah, I'd say we're giving all these terms and we're going fast, and can somebody tell me what the main point of all this that we're trying to tell you? What are we trying to achieve as filmmakers? Absolutely. Trying to get control. So these things create control. So, you use the spot. Flood, you can take something like, so these lights, and we'll show you a little bit, you have what's called a Fresnel. So it starts off at a big 110 beam angle, takes it down to 45, and then you can spot it in to where it comes to 25. So now, you can basically say, I want this to light exactly this place, or I want this to light this, but not this. On top of it, you'll have barn doors that you can collapse and control, but it's all to maintain control. I call film the controlled chaos. Like, that's what we do in the job. We control the chaos. We control the light. We control the chaos. We control basically Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and it will at the worst time. And you have to figure out as a filmmaker, as a creative, as a photographer, how do you control that? Whether that's, being creative and innovative with things that you've used. I mean, I've used a T-shirt to bounce a light. I've used a napkin to soften a light before. But those are things that, just start thinking about is everything that we do as a filmmaker is about controlling your environment so you can bring that vision to life. Filmmaker, content creator, anything. So,
couldn't have said it better myself. Yes. And I believe that is it for our terms. We're going to keep using those terms. We're going to come back around to them. When we show you the lights, we're going to mention those terms and describe them as we show them off to you. So if I went too quick, no worries at all. So yes, we have 5 characteristics of lighting. This is very simply broken down, just what I think you ought to know. We have direction, quality, color, intensity, and shape. Direction is the placement of a light in relation to the subject, and it's one of the first things you need to be considering when you're starting to light a scene, because if we had put these lights up in any other location without considering where I will be in the physical space, I'm going to have to get up there and change that. And direction is one of the more difficult things to change. We put them up in the sky. We put them up, way up on a stand. Maybe it's tucked in a corner somewhere. Direction is one of the more difficult things to try to change after the fact. So we focus on it first.
What do you think, as an indie filmmaker, is going to be your most cheapest, your most valuable, and your most used light source? Natural light, the sun, right?
Absolutely.
So now you got to think about, all right, I want to be here, like I was telling you earlier when we were filming all those outside shots where we had to have a projector on a building at a certain time of day to where it would show up and look natural. We had to know exactly where that sun's going to be. So there's an app on that you can get for your phone. It's called Sunseeker. It'll help you. But those are things to start planning. If that's all you got, then you need to know that I need to be here at between 8 and 10. My light is good. And that's, that's a thing that they do. A couple, like DPs will say, like, in an outside scene, what is your biggest, like, what do you have to get through? And they're like, well, we have to stop time. Because you have to make 12 hours look like it only happened in 5 minutes. So just the things to start thinking about. And direction plays a big part of it, especially with the sun, because you can't move the sun. Mm-hmm. And it can ruin your film.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is going to get me cut myself. But not which light is better, but which light do you enjoy most for control out of LED or tungsten lights?
Oh, yeah.
Like which specific fixture?
I guess we could say that. Or just like the type of light in general.
I would say if I had a first light to buy, I would want something that can somewhat combat the daylight inside. I'd want something that can be modified, and I'd want something with a color temperature, and we're going to teach about that in a little bit. So that's where I'd say if I was going to start my first light, something decently powerful, because you're probably not going to be able to buy the most powerful or have the equipment to do it, but just something that kind of checks, because when you start off, what you're going to do most is probably interviews, which we'll kind of show a little interview lighting after that. But I would start thinking about that. What can I get that's the most powerful, most versatile, and most kind of bang for your buck? Mm-hmm. I would recommend, these 300s are nice, but they're not going to serve you well in a professional setting. They're more studio lights, but we can talk about that in a little bit. Feel free to ask me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions just before we move on from direction? Yeah, brother, what's up?
Question here, these key lights, is that the screen called a diffuser?
Is the screen, so the entire, yes, that white screen that you see over the front of it, that's the diffusion element of it. It's taking the light and it's scattering it and it's making it move the way we want to, and it's making it softer because it's making the source bigger. Because when you pull that modifier off, the actual thing that's giving you light is about this big. So it's taking something this big and it's like quadruple, sextupling the size of it. So yes, that's the diffusion, but the entire thing, the entire like half dome you see is a modifier.
Yeah. So
he's got a huge
here's a
one
bigger
here.
version. So we got this one. This is called a diaper. It was named before I did it. And then inside, you see here, there's silver side here, and then there's a reflector here. So it's not, basically what's happening is your light is hitting this reflector, scattering into here, and then remember we're talking about the inverse square law. So now you've got light coming in, banging here, flying all around this softbox, and then coming. So that's scattering light. And it creates a nice soft look, which is why they're called a softbox. Mm-hmm. I like circles because it pleases to the face, but they also come in ones like these, tons of different shapes, longer, especially if you're in the photography world. So yeah, that's basically the same thing. This one's just a little bigger.
Yeah. But yeah, does that feel like you answered your question? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, brother. These on here? Yeah, let's talk about the ADC for a little while, guys. Me and the film crew have dubbed this the cutest light in the world. We have a much larger light that's called the 1200X, and this is like a tiny little baby version of it. And this here is called a spotlight. So when we talked about, I can just kick it on for you, striking. So you guys see that little? Is that visible for everybody? That little screen of light there. Everybody see that? So yeah, you can see.
Which we will talk about later.
Yes, we will. But yes, this is a spotlight. It allows me to kind of create like a really nice little spot. I can soften it up. I can make the edges really well defined. But yeah, there's a lot of, I can kind of shape it with a little bit of that. But yeah, so this is the spotlight attachment for the ADC. But yeah, so direction. Overall, very important. It determines a lot about your overall look for something. Front lighting. Front lighting is one of the simplest, easiest, just makes sense to your brain's kind of way to light something. You have a subject, and directly in front of them is a light shining right at them. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Full intensity and everything. Yeah. So an issue that we have with front lighting has to do with contrast, right? So a lot of what we're trying to do, like I said earlier, is create contrast. We're trying to create that feel that this two-dimensional image you're looking at is three-dimensional. And contrast is how we do that. Front lighting leaves us with almost no contrast because every aspect of your face is being well lit from the front. And all of the things that cast shadows on your face are like your nose, which just right from the front, you're not going to get a really nice shadow from that. And no contrast just means flat, boring. It's not really what we're going for, but usually you see it in like the news because it's just,
they have it right on the camera usually a lot of times because they do 20, 30 events. They all have whatever's on the front of their camera, and so they just kind of blast it in there. It has gotten better because the lights have gotten tinier, but yeah, for the most part, that's what you see is just right front there.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're not going for a moody look for the news, but sometimes we are, Butterfly. Butterfly is similar to front lighting, except rather than being where front lighting would be your subject is lit like right in front of the camera, butterfly would be like in between your subject and the camera is a light, kind of shooting high and like low onto the face. And what it does is it creates a nice little butterfly right underneath the nose, a little bit of a shadow, and it also gives you some contrast on the cheeks because the cheeks cast a shadow on themselves. So you get to see some of that contrast, and you get to feel that like three-dimensionality there. So yeah, that's a very common way. You'll see it in fashion commercials a lot. Is there a reason why?
Because of usually it's like big soft sources.
Yeah.
Because like if you're selling like makeup or you're selling because you're lighting the eyes beautifully, you've got the nice lights on the cheek and then the undershadows of the cheek,
right? And
then just everything kind of like gets soft and it's a smaller contrast ratio. So we talked about contrast. There's different ratios, but that's like usually it's like a 1-to-1, 1-to-2 as far as contrast ratio goes. That means like there one stop on your key sign, and then there's a one stop difference basically on your. So it's either you light completely the same, or you light a little bit brighter, a little bit darker. About a 1-to-2 ratio is usually where they go. And then some fashion stuff you do see more contrast moody, but it was started over there because usually what it is big, soft overhead lights that they're lighting for. And then butterfly, there's also a top-down lighting. Like if you see a lot of like movies in the 70s and the 90s, or the 70s was a lot of like top-down lighting, The Godfather kind of thing. They went a little bit more shadowy because instead of they went overhead instead of giving it here, but they wanted that like darkness so he could feel very like almost sinister.
Which is a big part of what we're trying to do, right? Thinking about how a light is going to make somebody look in a scene. Fashion commercials use butterfly because it's the most appealing. The Godfather uses that top lighting because it's what they're going for. We're going to talk about Rembrandt. Rembrandt is probably the kind of lighting you're most familiar with. It's when a light is, I'll kind of stand in Rembrandt position to this. It's when a light is about a 45-degree angle from you, and it's coming into you about a 45-degree angle this way. So usually it would be quite a bit higher, but that's kind of the angle that we're going for.
It's kind of got it going on right now, actually, if you look at him.
If you want to describe it. But usually what Rembrandt lighting does is one side of the face is more lit than the other side, and we get a nice fall off of contrast from the light side to the dark side. Star Wars. Light side to the dark side. And it usually creates this nice little like pleasing triangle of light right on the cheek because the nose casts a shadow this way, and you get that little triangle of light right on the cheek. I went all the way back to front lighting. Hold on. Rembrandt. And what that allows you to do is you can create Rembrandt lighting where both sides of the face are nice and well lit, and it has that good contrast with just one fixture. Often it's paired with other fixtures, but you can theoretically do it that way, and it does look good.
Yeah. I can tell. If you hit the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Because we can show it.
yeah, so this one's Rembrandt. You mind if I see that?
Please.
So you've got your little triangle here. Oops, sorry. You've got your, hopefully you got your little triangle here. So this is like the 1700s. What do you think they used to light this? Do you think they had electricity? They didn't have electricity back then. So what do they use? Natural light. So it was probably a window, right? So he would take it and he was put him in front of a window there, a single source coming in at a certain angle. You can tell, and you can't really actually, you can see it on this image, but you can't really see it because of these lights.
Mm-hmm.
But you see his shadows right there. So that means that light source is probably there, hitting this side, giving him just whatever he wanted there. And then, yeah, you can tell 45-degree angle pretty much. That was his shadow. So he actually used his shadow in the painting. So yeah, it's just a very traditional style.
Absolutely. And as I was putting this lesson plan together, I just kept thinking about how it's so incredibly funny. What Rembrandt was trying to do is he's trying to use paint, the medium of his time, to interpret real life. And we, as gaffers and lighting technicians, what we're trying to do is we're trying to mimic him and how he mimicked reality to interpret that in and of our own way. Like the way that we understand lighting is often referenced through painting. There's a Italian word, chiaroscuro, which describes the way that the contrast goes from light to dark to light to dark. And that's a word you'll see in lighting every once in a while when used to describe that way. And I just thought that was interesting. Side light. Side light is achieved by creating, by putting your fixture at a 90-degree angle. So that would be, if this was exactly to a 90-degree angle to me, you can, yeah, go ahead.
No, I can't do it. I'll get it, but just gonna smash him right in the
Yeah,
face.
Right. But kind of what it does is it's supposed to illuminate just one side of the face and leave the other side in shadow. We've got a lot of lights working right now, but in a super closed off area, that's what it would do. And it's kind of used to give that, oh, good Lord.
I got it.
You got it. Okay, I thought it was in my
Sorry.
pocket. But yeah, you can see it. If you go to the next slide, you can see it, that she's side lit. She's lit just from that side. It's illuminating most of that side of her face, and it's leaving the other side. There's actually like almost a perfect line down the center of her face where it's like split and cut off, and it creates that really dramatic feel.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, there's this shot deck created by Lawrence Sher. He's ASC. He's the guy who shot The Joker and The Hangover, which is funny. But yeah, so you can go on there. They do have a fee, but you can basically look up any lighting. So all I did was type in side light, and I got this image. You'll see quite a bunch, but it's a really good resource to know like things about like where they filmed, what type of camera they used, what type of lenses, what type of lighting they used. Some of the production design, cinematographer Roger Deakins, he's one of the best. So if you've seen his movies, you probably don't know. No Country for Old Men, great one. Cannot talk about his work enough. So Shawshank Redemption for some of you older folks.
The edge light, the kicker. So Cory corrected my slide a little bit when I first put this in here because I didn't realize that an edge light is a broad category that kind of means any light that outlines or fringes and contours the subject to create the separation. And it can hit a lot more than specifically a kicker, which is... Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. But yes, a kicker is more off-axis, and it's slightly to the side and kind of behind, and it hits that like cheek and jawline and the single shoulder side of things, which just gives a different look. And I think we have a slide with the edge light, right?
Well, okay, we got a little bit more, but I can go though. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You want to talk about Obsession? Are you obsessed
oh
with
yeah,
it?
absolutely. Has anybody seen that new movie out, Obsession? You guys have seen Obsession? Obsession does a thing. I just went to go see it recently, and I noticed they do a thing where they use only a kicker to outline the antagonist of the movie, and it creates this really eerie feel where you can see just the outline of them and none of like the facial features that would sort of like put you at ease when you see an actor. And using just that kicker is a very intentional, very like measured choice by those lighting technicians to make you uneasy.
So,
And yeah.
this one's from Dune.
Yes, it is.
All right. But you see this? Kicker. Yeah. So, and the reason why we go through all these terms is because, like, I'm on set and I'm like, hey, Gavin, can I get a kicker? Hey, can I get this? Hey, I need more side light. Hey, I need a 3/4 top light. Hey, I need, so these are just ways that you can communicate. The more you guys know, the more you're able to work in environments with people. So these terms may seem like, there's going to be a test at the end of it, but the test is, can you do your job when you're working with professionals in the industry? So these are, things that just to keep in mind. We don't expect you to know them all by the end of the day, but these are things to help you on set to communicate not only what, like, say, if you're in charge, your vision is, because the hardest part that I've learned since starting is just like, how do I translate what's in my brain into real life? And so having terms like edge and kicker, because they are two different things. You know what I mean? So do I want a kicker or do I want an edge? So these are just things to keep in mind, that communication and terms are important, especially in this industry. We have our own language. That one of the most things that we get when we're on set is, man, you guys got your own language. I don't even know what you're saying. We do, and there are specific terms that get the job done quick, fast, and in a hurry because time is money. So remember, sometimes you get on jobs and you're spending, probably $10,000 in an hour. You know what I mean? If you're 30 seconds behind, I don't want to do that math, but that's how much money you lost just because you were like, oh, what's an edge again? All right. Oops. Your backlight. You go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Backlight is the most recognizable by the halo that it puts. If you guys have seen any movie ever, you guys will notice that in famous movie Lord of the Rings, anytime anybody's outside, regardless of the direction of the sun in any given moment, they both have this beautiful halo of light right behind their head. Because at the end of the day, it's more important to have that separation between your subject and the background than it is to have that like perfect lighting continuity. So yes, backlight is incredibly important. It gives a lot of those like filmic looks that you see when you watch movies. And you'll see right there. See the way it cuts right through his hair, and it creates that nice like fringy halo-y effect, and it pops him out.
And see, there's the edge right there, and then a little kicker.
And there's the kicker.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, also too, don't think about edge light only as hair, but see, he's got a nice edge light there as well. Just basically there and there. So it doesn't have to just be on the hair, but it can be on anything. A lot of times when they're showing something like a piece of B-roll or a piece of an important object, that's going to be backlit. Just looks nice. Just remember, backlit looks nice.
Before we move on to quality, does anybody have any questions about direction, about any of the different lighting setups we talked about? Any questions at all? Any thoughts, comments, concerns? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. We're going to talk about quality next. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Quality is the relative size of a source compared to its subject. Yoink. And it's just hard light versus soft light. A small source makes hard light. A large source makes soft light. This is kind of a confusing diagram, I have been told, but I think it illustrates really well what we're trying to talk about. Can anybody tell me? Actually, no. I'm gonna tell you because they're already there. Every shadow is made up of two different parts. There is the umbra and there is the penumbra. You'll see at the top that shadow from a small source is almost entirely umbra because the umbra is the darkest, deepest part of the shadow. It's the part that'll give us the most contrast. And the penumbra is the part of the shadow that has, it occurs when the light kind of wraps around the subject as well as being blocked by it. And it's a lot lighter and it's a lot softer and it has a nice like hazy edge to it that you'll notice. So when we're talking about hard light, soft light, the size of a source, what we're talking about is how much umbra are we making and how much penumbra are we making, because it's important. Because if this light had no modifier on it, and you notice that the shadow that it casts on my face is incredibly harsh, maybe that's not the look you're going for. Oftentimes it isn't, because we want to show three-dimensionality. We want to have slow fall off. We want that shadow to gradually become darker, as opposed to just flat, light, dark, light, dark. So that's why it's important to understand shadows and the way that they work, and the fact that they are made up of two distinct parts, the umbra and the penumbra. And you see this is very well demonstrated here. This is a very hard light source hitting these individual objects, creating a shadow that is mostly umbra. And then when we take that and we put it through a piece of diffusion, it looks like this, where most of the shadow is that nice, hazy, soft kind of a shadow, and only a small amount is the deepest, darkest part of it. And that's using full grid cloth, which is something I think we do have and we will be showing you later. It's a diffusion source that we use in a 4x4 frame. Is that the only thing? Did you have anything to say about quality, sources, how large and small they are?
No, I mean, I think we've covered everything. I just actually, for the first time, noticed what you were talking about. So Gavin taught me a little something. But you see kind of like here, you've got this like, let me see. You got this like real deep shadow here. And then it kind of starts coming back again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. This light technically does that too, by the way that it focuses beams. So
Yeah.
I learned something today. But that's the thing. Like that's what I like about this is like there's no amount of courses that we can teach you to make you filmmakers. The only thing is just time under tension, learning your craft. One of my favorite things about this, and one of the things that I hate the most about this, is that you are never complete. Your career is never reached a pinnacle. You have never stopped learning. You have never stopped growing. My plan is to shoot one of the pretty shots and then cut, and then I'm going to have a heart attack. That's my goal in life. I will be doing this until the day that I die. So unfortunately, the bad thing is we can't make you filmmakers. We can help give you the tools to teach you a path. And you guys are in the age of information. It is everywhere. Everything I learned is, I wish I had the stuff. I'm Shane too. I mean, all the stuff, the technology, the information that you guys have now. It's just so, and social media, you guys have so many opportunities to learn, to grow, to make it your own. So just, we're going to try to give you a good overview. And then, we just hope you guys keep coming back and hope you guys take it from there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on to color, I want to ask you guys if there is any questions or thoughts about quality and how it relates to achieving soft light. Any questions about shadows, anything like that before we move on to color? Nothing? Cool. With color, very simply put, when we're talking about color with lighting, most of the time what we're talking about is whether it's warm or cold or some variation of RGB. But the look and the feel of lighting can be expressed in many ways, most often it being color and the temperature of that light, whether it is warm or cold, orange or blue. Don't need that. The hue-heat hypothesis. This was something that our first AC Josh added that I thought was really interesting. Just kind of, because it's a thing I intuitively knew, but I did not know how to put into words. But warmer color temperatures evoke certain feelings. A warm light is like the inside of your home. A candle, a church corridor is lit with very warm light. As opposed to other environments like a coldly lit like office building with very like blue like white light. That's they create different feels, and we're trying to do different things when we talk about color temperature.
Yeah.
Cory?
Remember? Do you guys remember why we have 2 greens in our sensors? Is because remember our eyes are more sensitive to green light because you had to see if there was a predator coming in the jungle. So that's why our sensors are GGB. Mm-hmm. And like this, why are we warm? Like, why is warm make us feel happy? Well, because in the night, fire was our comfort. There's certain things about film that are ingrained into who we are as people, to our evolution. So those are things that you can start thinking about, like who we are as people. I told you, like, the first thing that we did when we came together was we came together as storytellers. So there's always these things embedded into our psyches, like red, certain colors invoke certain feelings. And that's just because we've been trained, through nature for years. So just keep thinking about that. Like, it's more than just a technical skill, but it's a feeling that you're trying to invoke in things.
Absolutely. This is a good diagram we found to kind of show the variation in the spectrum of color temperature. Obviously, not all of your lights are going to go from 1,000 Kelvin to 10,000, but it's a good descriptor of it. Right about here in the 5,000 to 6,000 range, about 5,600 degrees. That's our daylight. That's what daylight's going to look like on an average sunny day. And then obviously warm light is more for like a sunset or like a late afternoon. And then cool light could be a lot of different things would be used to create cool light.
What color is the sun? Can anyone answer me what color the sun is? White. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. We had this debate. So why do you have seen, when you see the sun, you are seeing the infrared version of the sun. So but you're instantly, you ask a kid to draw a sun, they're going to say, oh, it's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, it's white.
Yeah, absolutely it is. White light being white light as it's coming through to space and it's hitting the diffuser of our atmosphere, depending on the way that it hits that diffusion, it causes it to look different. Different times of day, different, things like that. Interesting thing about white light, it is all colors. I'm sure you guys knew that. Any question about color temperature, anything like that before we move on to intensity? Cool. Intensity is very simply just the amount of power coming out of your light. We talked a little bit about stops. When you're dealing with a camera, you have a lot of different ways to control your exposure, how bright something is. You can control the f-stop, you can control the shutter speed, and you can control the ISO. With a fixture, you don't really have that ability. How bright something is more just attributed to one factor, and it's a dial on the light. You can expand the light, you can bounce it around, you can shape it, but you can't make it more powerful than it is. That used to be more of an issue with some of our older lights. Give me just one moment and I'll pull something out for you guys. This is one of our old school fixtures. This is what you'd see commonly used for most of the 20th century. Lights like this, used on a film set. It's a real bulb that generates quite a lot of heat on the inside. And just one cord. And on this, as you'll see, there's no fancy ballast. There is no way to really control how bright it is. It just is what it is. We have some tools called dimmers, which allow you to make them darker and brighter to a degree. But used to just be, if you wanted more light, you had to get a bigger light. Which is still somewhat the case, but we have a lot more control nowadays. We're kind of lucky in that sense. So yeah. Any thoughts on intensity, Cory?
No, I mean, intensity, this is usually when you get like your stops. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they'll say like, take it down a stop, take it up a stop, give me a half stop, which then, when you're at 72% and you're like, all right, how do I do a half stop?
Yeah. Just so I make sure that you guys understand, just call out if you know it. If I'm at 25% and Cory calls out to me, go up one stop, what percentage do I go to? Anybody? 50%.
Hey.
Absolutely, 50%. Because I'm doubling what I'm at. It's not always just such a clean 25 to 50, 50 to 100. But often you can approximate. You can do that math and figure it out. So yeah. Going
as long as your light is on linear, but that's a whole nother thing.
That is, yeah, we can't, oh man. No questions about intensity? Is anybody curious at all? Cool, perfect. Shape. We're going to talk a little bit about shape. We kind of briefly touched on it with when we talked about bounces. We talked about negative fill. Those are ways that you can shape your light. But put very simply, light will move in all directions evenly if left to its own devices, and that's really not what we're going for almost ever. You'll notice that any modifier that we have puts the light exactly where we want it to go, and it's kind of doing a lot of that shaping for us. On this light here, you'll notice that it comes with a very easy light shaping tool called barn doors. Barn doors allow you to cut off or expand how much light is coming through, so you could make like a narrow beam, or you could get exactly what you wanted out of that light to shape it. I think I might grab like a scrim, like a 4x.
Okay?
Just to show what I'm talking about. This is one of the tools that we use to shape light, and it also is relevant to intensity. This is a 4x4 flag. And you'll notice that it's a very thin mesh material. And our nickname for this guy is a single. Can anybody guess why it's called a single? In relation, go again? Transparency. Not quite, but kind of. Yeah, it has to do with intensity. You'll notice that, let me get on the other side of it. When I take this light and I put it through our single, it gets a little bit darker, doesn't it? We lose a little bit of it. Particularly, we lose exactly one stop of light. So it brings us down a single stop.
Yeah, so a lot of times on setup, like, hey, can I get a single?
Mm-hmm.
And then he knows that I need to take that light, because sometimes when you dim lights, or another way you could do it is you could like change this, right? So where is it on this one? See how I can focus it and it kind of changes, but if I really like what this light is doing and I don't want it to be changed at all, I can just say, hey, bring it down a stop. Even sometimes with some of these LEDs, they're getting better, but when you go down 50%, you still kind of change the umbra and the penumbra. So if those are the words that I have, but you know what I mean?
Correct.
It will kind of sometimes change, but I will say aperture's getting pretty good about doing that. But a lot of the older school LED lights, or lights in general, when you would change the intensity of things, they would change what the actual light is doing. So you'd always have to be aware of that. But yeah, no, that's great. And then if you want to throw in the double.
And this is and this is the same flag, but it's going to bring us down 2 stops, and it's called a double. You'll see that brings it down quite a bit. Just kind of A/B that for you. Oh, you know what? I'll throw you guys a bonus one. When you're taking something like this and you're kind of just putting it in front of a light to see how it feels, you go A, B. It's called A-Bing something.
Yeah, so that way to check, because sometimes DPs like to change their mind. They think they want something and they don't. And so you're like, oh yeah, put that in there. Like, ooh, that was a mistake. Well, because there's some experimentation in between this, just in general.
Absolutely. And I think I'll just show you guys one more thing as it pertains to shape, because I'm going to talk a little bit about spill.
Nice.
My bad. Can I hold that for a second? You want to pop that in there while I set this down?
Yeah. Sorry, guys, we get nervous.
Yes, and if you want to strike that.
Yeah, actually, we can wake him up. Striking.
Oh my God.
What's up, big guy? How you doing? That's a lot for the brain, huh?
So when you see this light shooting in this direction, let's say this is what I wanted it to be doing. Oh, and it's so good, and I love exactly what it's doing on set, but I just don't like that it's coming over here. I don't like the spill that it's having on this side. Another thing we can do to shape light is just put up a blackout. Just put up a piece of material that the light cannot get through to shape it in the direction that we want. It kind of works on the same principle as barn doors, but we get a lot more control. And this in particular, our nickname for this guy is a floppy, because he's got an extra piece of him that flops down to give you not only the 4 feet that you need, but an additional 4 feet on top of that to really cover the distance that you need to. So that's just another way that we shape light, and another tool that we use to do that. I'll set this down for a moment.
Anything you want to go through on this?
On shape, I feel like that covers. Does anybody have any questions about shape, or what kind of tools we use to shape light, or anything like that? Okay, copy that. This is an image that Cory had pulled from, what
Men in
movie
Black.
is this from? This is from Men in Black, yes. And you'll see that in this, they're just using natural light to get this nice lighting on Will Smith here. And they're not using any fixtures that we can see in this image. They're just using bounce boards, and they're using singles. And I can't tell what that big 8x frame
It looks
is.
like it's some type of diffusion, and then so I think what they've done, because I've looked at this a couple times. Can I
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah, please.
So I think what they've done is, because I bet Tommy Lee has to leave this scene. So what happens is they were probably seeing the gaps that this was making, so they filled it out. They flew Tommy Lee out because he's like, is it worth it? Yeah, if you're strong enough. So he had to leave the scene for that. It's a good movie, by the way.
Great movie, Men in Black.
But yeah, so then when it was time for Will's close-up, where he's contemplating if he wants to leave his entire world behind, they've got a bounce card here, a bounce card here. What is that we just learned about? That's a single. This is a negative. And so what's actually, I can't tell because it looks like there's a little bit of green, but it looks like a negative. So it may be a single. I don't think it is. I think it's a floppy because look, everybody's here huddled in the sun, probably just baking. And plus, lots of electricity going through that and heat with all the movement. And that looks like two cameras. So it's probably just protecting them from the hot sun. But yeah, so, and then there's your negative right there. Yeah.
So next we're going to talk about safety on set. We're going to go through a couple of simple things just to kind of familiarize you guys with some things. I'm going to bring out our C-stand. Do you want the phone?
No, I can do whatever you want. Do you need a hand, Gavin?
Yeah, would you give me one bag, Mr. DP?
Yes.
Thank you, guy.
Whatever your little heart desires, enjoy it while it can.
Does anybody know what this is? What's this friggin' thing, right? What's going on, guys? Anybody? C-stand? Somebody said C-stand? Yes, that is what it is. Bonus points. Does anybody know what C-stand stands for? Yeah, I didn't either until I looked it up. It's a century stand. I believe they used to be, they used to hold, 100 inch by 100 inch boards that would be, 100 is a century. So they're century stands. It's probably the most common thing you guys will use when trying to put up a light, aside from a pick stand, which I will also show you. But the thing about a C-stand is that it's meant to hold your light, and it's meant to do it safely. So we've got the stand, and we've got the bag. If I take the bag away, say I had a light on top of here, that light can move this way, or this way, or this way, and the C-stand will fail, and it will fall. But if I change the center of gravity from way up here to down here, and I make this heavier than this, the C-stand has less ability to do that. And the heavier of a thing I put up here, the heavier it needs to be down here, and the more bags I need to put on it. And if it becomes so large that I can't put enough bags on it, or it would still never be safe up here, we would move up to a larger stand called a combo. But yeah, that's a C-stand. Yeah. This is a shot bag. Yeah.
Go good. And one thing, he's got this set in a specific way here. So you see how everything is to the right? So that is by design, because we're going to have you put some lights up here. You see that he's got it over here. So when you come out here, you're putting things overhead. In theory, if you lock it down, these ones are getting a little old, but no matter how hard I pull it, it self-tightens down here. So that's the importance of doing that, where, let me loosen it a little. Put it over here. And Matthews, I think, since then has changed the technology, but we just still kind of always do it. But I think, yeah, see? Boom, smashes somebody. It actually is going to loosen that way.
Yeah.
So those are things to think about. So, because, you got $1 million actor, actress, or you've just, like I said, sometimes when you get on commercials, you're literally blowing $10,000 an hour, if not more. And then you cut up the actress who makes her living or his living with the way that he looks. Now he can only play villains, and that's because you put it on the wrong side. It's true.
But yeah, and then I think my next slide has to do. Do you have the?
Oh, I don't know.
Or do I?
Here. We're getting a little crazy.
Going a little crazy. Let me ask, guys, whose job is it on a set to ensure safety? Just no wrong answers. Everybody, yeah, that's right. It's your job, guys. Yeah. Absolutely. Safety is incredibly important. And on a set, even a small photography job, there's too many moving pieces for anybody not to be concerned with the safety of everybody. You feel me? So the reason that it's important to bag your stand, why it's important to understand the way a C-stand works, is because safety is your job. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing too, guys. This is fun and creative, but it is also can be very dangerous. I've been on boats. I've been in the sky. I've been in streets. I've been in active cars. This is a dangerous thing. And so we get this thing like, oh, it's going to be so cool if we do this. I've almost been killed once on set. Almost killed myself once on set. You know what I mean? So this is when you get on there, it can go dangerous very quick. And no shot, no piece of art ever created is worth somebody getting injured or harmed. Somebody a couple years ago broke their arm. We had somebody here who got hit by a train because the producer didn't make sure that the things were locked down. So safety on set is important. People die in this industry doing this job every year, whether that because they're too tired when they go home, whether that because they didn't have the strength in their heart to tell the producer no, or the group didn't collectively get together to tell that producer no. So this is a thing that really matters. People do die doing this stuff all the time. And it's not just the people with GoPros doing the crazy stuff. So just things to think about. Always make sure that everything is safe, that you're taking care of your crew, and that you're taking care of yourself, and making sure you get to go home to your loved ones.
It's true. It's the most important part. No friggin' movie's worth your life, bro.
Yeah, they just give you credits.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
In loving memory of. They'll give you-
And I know I just showed you guys a C-stand, but I'm going to show you guys the 3 different kinds of C-stands that we have with us. Yeah, this is the first one. So this guy, if I'm not too stupid, I believe this is our turtle base. The reason we call this a turtle base is because when you loosen it from the bottom, it becomes a smaller stand. And I could take a light like our ADC there.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, it'll work. I just got to take the pin out.
Ooh.
Hey, did it for
Oh,
me?
look, they put a new little locking mechanism on this. I haven't got to play with this light.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This one's Josh's.
By all means. But yeah, let's say I needed to light an actor from below the ground. Let's say there was no room to fit a big stand in somewhere, or I was trying to pull off a unique effect. Turtle Base allows us to set a light pretty close to the ground, make them look like a crazy villain. But yeah, so that's our first kind of C-stand. Comes apart in 2 parts.
You'll see. Watch some Spielberg stuff. Janusz is very. He's well known for using the dreaded uplight.
The dreaded uplight. All right. And the next one I'll grab for you.
Where you going next?
Probably Rocky Mountain. Yep.
Nice.
Which is this guy. So, another thing I'll tell you guys about, the humble apple box. Little wooden box, also called a man maker. This is a full apple. Pretty simply put, if you ever need to be just about that much taller.
How tall do you think Tom Cruise is? I think he's like 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's always next to
Yeah, right?
5'9", 6 foot tall women.
Exactly.
Yeah, you doing? See.
So the apple box here is going to play the part
Feel good.
of, and somebody should have bagged that. And somebody, the apple box is going to play the part of any obstruction you might have on set. And our Rocky Mountain leg is going to allow us to set, let's say you needed to set a stand. I recently did this on the feature we shot in Oklahoma. I needed to set up our tube lights, like you saw earlier, on C-stands on a staircase as going up, hitting 2 different windows. And the way that I did that was by allowing the largest leg to move up the stand and rest here so that I can bag it here. Center of gravity's here. My light's working up here. I think even this could be a little straighter. But yeah, so that's what a Rocky Mountain allows you to do. It allows you to have a little bit more variation for height. And then I'll just show you the really simple one for the last one, which is spring-loaded.
It's this one, not the one that tried to kill me, is it?
I don't think so.
I think you got 2.
I mean, I should just have to. Do I have 2? Well,
Yeah.
I feel like that'll show the. So I grabbed 2 turtle bases, but it gets the idea across. So these are spring-loaded C-stands. The way the legs close are like that, and the way they open are like this.
And we'll just pretend that it doesn't have this little nub
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Don't think about that knob. It's not.
It's
not
not.
there.
It's not real. It can't hurt you. It did try to hurt me though.
And then I gotta find this little guy.
Oh, I think it's about time.
Time for a break?
Yeah.
Okay, copy that. Yeah, let me just hit this one really quick. Bags. This one's a shot bag. It's little tiny metal pellets on the inside of this, as opposed to the more traditional sandbag. Sandbags are bigger. These are smaller because they're denser.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's. And next, when we come back from our break, we'll talk about DIY lights.
We're going to get into the more kind of hands-on, personal type thing. First of all, Don't judge the color of this TV. To get a color calibrated monitor would be more than that camera that size. It's they get pricey. But yeah, so I'm going to roll this camera, and I'm going to welcome Kathleen up. Woo. Kathleen is a good friend of mine, and she recently was just in a play. So we'll have her kind of come in here. All right. So now you can see kind of by looking at this, if you don't mind looking to the camera. So you kind of see we're getting that single point kind of look right here. Got that small little triangle on the cheek, everything there. Now this light is a little bright, and how does that feel on your eyes?
Very bright.
Yeah, very bright. So another thing when you're thinking about placing light is comfort of talent. So this is what we would call raw light. There's another word, but I won't use it here. So let's go ahead and bring in that diffusion.
Diffusion's coming up.
So now watch the way it changes in her face. So you want to bring it to
Oh,
you? Yeah. So a lot of times when you're setting lights, you'll have your person helping, usually this is a grips job. There's a difference between a lighting technician and a grip. But you see kind of the same principle is going forward. As this is this way, this is here, keeping all the weight. And it's pretty light. It's not windy. If it was outside, we'd be using a combo stand. And then I'm just going to double check because you never could check. But see the way that the quality of light has completely 100% changed on her face. It's nicer, it's softer, it's a little bit more appealing. But still, this would probably not be something that you would want for an interview. Do you want to bring in the big bounce card?
Yeah, absolutely.
So see, you've got your contrast here, and you've got the light kind of coming in. You've got your Rembrandt lighting, because it is about 45 degrees away from talent. And then just make it tall.
Tall.
Yep, and then get it behind her. So, and bring it in closer, closer, closer. See how it's just elevating that cheek there just in general? So this would be just like kind of a bounce fill. But another thing that you could do is you could add a light. So I'm also going to just show a little bit about like the difference from taking this light, bringing it even closer to her there. See how that kind of changed a little bit, the direction? Or it kind of changed the softness of it a little bit. Kind of come in here, we can get even more dramatic. So now I think we'll get into like a little side lighting then. Sorry.
You ready for that fill light?
Yeah, go ahead.
Copy that.
So now we got side lighting. Now we've got a little bit of a fill. We keep bringing it up, keep bringing it up. And that's something similar to what you've seen. Remember, we showed that picture of Revolutionary Road. Now, you guys are seeing a completely different picture. This is like, her not in a natural environment. So the only point of this is just really to see the differences and the differences kind of lighting. So yeah, you see almost 50-50 on the face, kind of really nice. Just, it's side lighting. Now we go, what's a 3/4 backlight, which I think a lot of people light with. We're just kind of showing the different ways that the light kind of approaches the face. So now this is that 3/4, not quite 3/4. Maybe I'll move it this way more.
I'm gonna.
But so now she looks a lot more sinister, right? Like you don't know what she's plotting. You can't really see her eyes. You just see right there. But I mean, that right there, that invokes a different type of emotion. Sorry, I'll try not to get by there. And then you can even take this. I'm going to go a little brighter, and then give me a little bounce on that return side.
Copy that.
Give me that big boy. And then so, see, just like that little bit just filled in that cheek, so now you can see a little bit more of the details.
And
Maybe
I
that's a
can
little too harsh light.
A, B. You guys should be able to see it change. A, B.
Now go in and give let's turn it to the negative side.
Copy that.
And bring it a little closer to her.
About there.
But yeah, see, we've returned to that kind of harsher but kind of brighter vibe. And definitely more like silhouette-y. But yeah, so a lot of times you use this for, to do some type of backlight. After this, we're going to teach you a 3-point lighting, but I just kind of wanted to roll around with a single light. Gavin, that can kind of go away.
Copy.
And Gavin, if you've got anything you want to add to it, feel free.
I feel like you're knocking it out, and I feel like it's also a good representation of the dynamic, right? It's that like Cory thinks about where the light goes as the DP, and then it's my job to like help facilitate that.
Yeah, it's definitely not my job to touch these, but if I do, you help manage that cable. I just want to kind of get it back behind her. You see, she's kind of got backlight, top down. She should be smoking a cigarette and be like, "What did you finally come here, Mr. Bonds?" Yeah. But just another way is you see she's got that kind of halo effect. This is kind of almost more of like not quite a kicker. See, it's not on the cheek like it was last time. Just kind of that just in general, kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
And then so now, say you've got the big, say pretend like that's the sun. Now let's bring in the bounce.
Copy that.
Bring it a little closer. But you see now you're starting to get that kind of like nice big soft source light back in there. Kind of less shadowing. But see, you're taking that light, you're bouncing off that board. So now you're changing the direction of it to where it comes from. Even though this light's over here, the main source hitting her face is there. Now I would still say that the backlight is her key. Even though it's not what's lighting her face, just because it's the most powerful source. So say you've got a big, shiny, like spotlight hitting in the back, and now she's illuminated by this bounce, that this does not become the key light. That's the key light. So that backlight is still technically the key light. And then I guess we'll go into your more, do you want to show anything else?
I think that covers quite a few of those directions that we had talked about. For,
you know what we could do?
Yeah.
Give me that bounce right here.
Yeah, right there. Copy that.
We're gonna, and then who do we have? Do we have
Crossing.
anybody here available from our team? You want to get me a C-stand? Actually, no. I think we're gonna be good. So now I'm taking this light here. And remember, it was a tiny little light before. No, it's not killing your eyes too much. Let me go. Sorry, there you go. Welcome your ear grip. Light hurts. I'm sorry about the front person. But I'm going to actually really smash that now. So we went from 4%. I'm going to take it up a stop to 8%. And see how that's doubled the diffusion there. But now we're starting to get kind of a really nice soft source again because the source is getting bigger. All right, so now we're at 17%. We'll go down to 16. So I basically doubled my stop of light again. So now we've went up 2 steps.
Just showing you guys what we're talking about with the Quacker. It's a flat clamp that attaches to one of our bounce cards so that I could theoretically come in and get that. So I'll start that here and I'll pass it around.
So now I'm gonna go up even one more stop. So now we're at 16. How do I go up one stop? Yep, to what? 32. So we're gonna go to 32. All right, now you're starting to see even more, but now it's starting to get starting to get a little spicy, starting to get a little hot. But you see she's got nice lighting here. We kind of want to take this and wrap this a little bit more. And we probably want to bring this down a little bit. If you can see here, she's got a really nice eye light, just because it's a big, beautiful, bright source. So let's go ahead and do what's called a book light. So, Gavin, I'll place where I want this. If you want to place it there, I'll take a bag. Let's just do a 4x4.
Yeah, copy that.
So I think I can get this. God, that light is so bright. All right, we're about to make it better for you, hopefully. All right, yeah, let's put her in there. And then I need it right there. That way it doesn't. Oops, sorry, hold.
Got it.
All right, again, for you guys who can't see, I apologize, but I've got the big leg of the stand, the bag, and all the weight towards that bag. But see, now we've created kind of, actually I see what it's doing here. So if you guys want to, and this is a part where you guys can walk up. Like if you can't see, feel free to stand up,
Yeah.
feel free to move around. You guys can get off your feet if you want, but I'm getting what's called a spill here. And you can only see it when you see on this. Basically what's happening is I'm illuminating this diffusion. And so this diffusion now, because it is spilling, is acting like a bounce. So what do I have to do? I either have to shift my barn doors over here and kill that. So now you're not getting this harshness that you had. See here? You're getting this reflection. You're getting this spill of the light, and it's creating a bounce here. So now what we do by taking this and softening it, or cutting it off with a barn door, now you should be having just this nice quality of light that's on her. I would like a fill here.
You would like a fill?
Yeah, give me that 3. Yeah, you want it?
No, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
I've never heard of book light before.
Yep, so
Oh.
book light. Basically, it acts like a book here. So if you see there's kind of like a little bit of a triangle, I can really push this in even more. So push this here, move this here. Who's got that quacker clamp still?
Oh, nice.
Perfect. So here, I'll show you how this works. So you're gonna come.
Oh, me?
Yep. All right. So let's get a bag for it if you don't mind.
I got
there's
some bags right there.
Sandbag right there.
Grab that.
All right. So you take this. Yep.
Largest
Put it on
leg.
that one. Yep. So I'm gonna take this and just tighten this. That's not tight. Nope. That is. Yeah. All right. So there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to loosen this up by controlling this. So loosen this with that. Oop. And then loosen this one, which comes, ooh, wow, somebody hurt you on that one. So you're going to take that and you're going to bring this to that. So you got the arm.
Pull it all
Yep, there you go. Bring it in. And then so this is the one that you're going to want for this. So I think you need to loosen up that knuckle. I'm going to loosen this up. We're going to lock it in there. So now, yep, and now lock it down. Yep, you got to go crank on it and give it a ton of crank. Her entire career depends on you locking that down. Yeah. So now what we've done is we take it closer in here. I'm going to try and kill some of the spill for you so it doesn't hurt your eyes. But now, if you look in here, come over here, looks like the opening of a book. So basically what you're doing is you're taking this and you're bouncing it through that. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that might be too much. You know, I do like that though. Let me see. Let me see if I like what it looks like on the camera. All right, I could take that intensity down a touch. I'm gonna go with an ND. Actually, no.
You're at 56.
So check this out. That is a stop of ND, a 0.3, one stop of ND. What are we at intensity-wise?
You're at 56%.
Take me down to 23.
23. That's one stop down.
But see, I don't really like that because see now how we've lost all this, everything that we had on here. So let's go back up to 56. Now watch
Yep.
what happens to her cheek here.
Coming back up.
It illuminates still. We got the power. It's kind of because remember when you're hitting this, you're taking it down, but you're also doubling your distance. So I've decided that I want to take this. They call it what's taking it on the ND. So there's a way I could do it. I could go here, which is, taking it on the lens. I'm closing down my aperture by a stop. Or NDs are important for a reason. So now she's got still a decent amount of quality on that cheek. This is pretty solid here. I like the way that this is looking. So now let's go ahead and let's add a fill light.
Yeah, copy that.
Let's do a bigger source.
Bigger source.
What do we got?
I got the pre-built bigger source.
You want to use this 300X?
Yeah.
Or the 300 or 3?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with the 60-inch.
Yeah, or we could use the Godox.
We could use the Godox. We could show them.
So, all right, this one's plugged in. And so when you turn on a light, you're going to call striking. If talent is already on set, I never like to, basically put it in their face. So you put it in Gavin's face.
Mm-hmm.
You turn it on, you yell striking. And then I'm going to match what's the color temperature on that?
That's 5600. It's daylight.
Copy. So 5600. Kathleen, I apologize in advance. This is for demonstration purposes. It might be a touch bright. So, boom. So now we're getting into kind of the fill light. But see how we've lost kind of all of our contrast. Now it's just very kind of flat, very boring, just in general. This is not what you want. And then I've noticed that my color temperature isn't very pleasing, so it's very cold. So I'm going to take this and watch this little color temperature thing change right here. Well, it might not until, but I'm going to go, for temperature purposes, I'm going to go about 6,000 here. But see how I've warmed her up now? Now it looks a little bit more pleasing in general. And now we're going to add this softbox on here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe push it to the left a little. We'll see.
Copy. Cory, while I put this softbox on, do you want to explain? Sorry. I was going to say, do you want to explain when the lights are at a cold color temperature,
Mm-hmm.
and the what color temperature does the camera need to be at to achieve that like warmer look? How do you get that? Do you?
So I went a little bit above. I went 6,000 to give it some warmth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm notorious for shooting warmer tones, but you can go. I think I've got 63. I've got 7,000. You see how it continues to go warmer. These lights are set to 5,600, so that means I am about 1,400 Kelvin higher than I would. So I like to shoot that to give me the warmth in my tones. But if, say, we wanted to make it a little bit more weird, a little colder, now she looks like she's in the morgue. You know what I mean? So I've taken all that and I've basically just destroyed kind of like all her skin tones. But it's a look. So there's things that you can do in camera to manipulate that. This would be a look that most people wouldn't go for. So this is about right here. Probably where I'd say is a good version to go. But yeah, see, so now she's getting, some contrast here. A little bit there. And it's just kind of nice. Now she's not really popping out of this background, though. She's kind of, you see, she's got really nothing kind of separating her from there other than the fact that it's colored. So actually, I could show you. There's two ways that I like to separate people from the background. Is I like to either pop them out with an edge light, and I'm just going to show you another technique. Is can you give me some color, Gavin, on the back wall?
Yes, absolutely, I can. Pardon me.
You could just go with the psych wall lights.
Oh, copy that. That's what we're looking for.
Sorry, I didn't ask.
You didn't,
And that's
yeah.
part of the thing about communication is if you don't ask, they don't know. He's like, oh, I'm going to do what I think is right. So,
Fun fact: what I think is right is usually wrong.
yeah. He's getting there, though.
Striking.
Yeah, all right, and see if we can put that at to 100.
Yep, that's 100% on those blue lights.
Yeah. See, so let's go with a different color. So let's
Yeah.
go orange.
Here's orange.
But see, now I've started to separate her out there a little bit, kind of using it. Now she pops. We're using, man, what's this? Is that fully saturated?
It is fully saturated.
looking-
Actually, it was at 90. Here's 100.
And that's orange?
That's orange.
Interesting.
I could also give you, this is what, like, white light, like, that's like 2300.
No, I
on
like the
those.
orange better.
Yeah, for sure.
But see, so now this has helped kind of separate. What you're getting a lot of, this is what you're getting here. Around here is spill from that key light because the way that I have it going here, a way that you could get rid of it is you would come from the top so it's not spilling on the background. Because if you see here, you've got nice like color separation here. But here it's starting to get a little muted, and that's because I have this. So, Gavin, just go ahead and kill that that 1200 for me.
When I kill the light, I say intentional.
But you see how you've gotten all that contrast back? Now you got all this color kind of just in general. There may be a little bit of spill coming from something else. This thing. But so, yeah. Now she should be just really nicely popped out. And kind of spin the channels just so people can see kind of like as far as color, just so
yeah.
people can see. But see, we were getting spill from that light that was pushing to there. This light was popping there, giving spill here. And now we're completely spill free on the backlight. So if we wanted to not get her, can we have you move forward about a foot? Maybe? Perfect. And then I'll back this up a touch. But see how she's kind of, just by moving her, she's no longer getting all that spill that was on her forehead. She's still getting a little here and a little bit there. But see, it's a little bit more pleasing. So like things like this, like you can move subject into relationship of light. And that just kind of helps. So let's go ahead and turn these back off, and we'll kick these back on. We're going to go into like a more traditional, like a 3-point lighting.
Intentional. Striking.
So Gavin,
Talk to me.
can I have an egg crate for this?
Yes, you can.
All right, so now this is your 3-point lighting kind of setup. See, it's a pretty pleasing image, I would say. It looks way better here, so I'm like, I go here and I'm like, oh, it looks terrible. I'm like, here, this looks great. All right, cool. So let's bring in the Godox.
Let's bring in the Godox. Copy that.
Oh, another thing, if you guys ever have like a 4x frame, you see how I've got one side towards her. And that's your tape side here. Because aluminum is reflective, and we've all been on set, especially, it usually happens a lot in the daytime, but somebody will put it on the wrong side. We've done pretty good about taping both of these sides so it doesn't become an issue, but you'd be like, what is that weird thing on her face? Like, what's going on? It's usually because somebody put it on the wrong side of the...
Yeah, it's the length of aluminum on here. It's the entire stand, so you have to put just a piece of 3-inch gaff along the entire silver side. That's always fun.
All right, so this is my new favorite light.
Sure is.
I like it a lot, and Gavin hates it because he has to carry it around. All right, who wants to get me the sandbag? Who wants some more brownie points? Sandbag brownie points, please. All right, Gavin, I guess it's you.
No, we got a volunteer.
Oh no, we do.
Thank you, brother. Pass to me, I'll say mine.
All right, what's
Thank
your name, sir?
Faizan.
One more time.
Faizan.
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 Copy. Thank you, Faizan.
Appreciate you, brother. Now this one, when you call striking, you're always wrong. 'Cause it takes a minute. So striking.
Did we do it? No, it's in party
lights.
mode.
I'll
So
take it.
This is a drug vibe. I like it.
Come on.
So yeah, big. So this is another big soft source. Let's go to daylight.
Copy.
What?
That's your daylight.
And this is kind of something that we like, is because instead of setting up these big, huge lighting rigmaroles, we can just kind of do this. And let's bring it forward to a little
Copy
bit
that.
more.
Walking it in.
More. Perfect. And then, Kathleen, I'm going to have you take just a little skosh back, maybe about 6 inches. Perfect. There we go. Nope. Yeah. So kind of, you see all that we had to do to make that really hard source soft. Now we just kind of get to do it in one beautiful setting.
Yeah,
one beautiful light.
The Godox is really, really handy when we're shooting small, intimate, like documentary things, and I can't, I don't have the time or the space to set up a book light with the 1200 and a Fresnel and a 6-foot rag, so we get the Godox, and we are able to cram it into a corner on a stand even smaller than this, and get that same beautiful look just in somebody's home or in their workplace, and that's really helpful.
All right, more questions. More, who? Yes.
Can I see without the modifier?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You sure
100%. So the first thing I'll take off is the diffusion. I don't have the grid on today, but there with no diffusion.
See how it's gotten brighter, but it's also gotten more what's called specular. So now you're seeing her cheeks. They're starting to get in her nose right here. You're starting to get these little specular flecks. And basically that's where there's oil in the pores, and it's just taking that and it's reflecting it. So we call it a specular highlight. Sometimes you want this. A lot of times, in fact, we could bring it out. So this is what's called a soft light. So it's already a soft light. So it's spreading out 110 degrees basically. So it's already scattering, and it's kind of designed. And then we just put this with this modifier here.
Mm-hmm.
We won't put the grid on it because we're not that tall. You know what we could show them after this?
Yeah.
Well, let's give them a tungsten vibe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do we have the dimmer?
I do have dimmers and I do have hot lights.
Yeah, that's good enough. So
Crossing.
I think what I'm going to do then, if we're going to do that, we're going to get a hot light in here. But yeah, so this is just a bigger, softer source. Actually, hey, Gavin,
Yes.
why don't we do that clamp light thing? So give me
Yeah,
a stick stand.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So we're gonna do our Home Depot lights.
Absolutely, we are.
These are your cheaper, kind of stick stands. You can get these pretty cheap. Not this brand, but they make them usually pretty cheap. One thing that you're gonna know about these that's really important is you're gonna want to spread your base as wide as possible. All right.
So this is the one with the bulb in it.
Yes.
Do you want to trade me? Mine, yours.
Cool. All right. So this light's probably now $8-10. The stand you can get a nice 3-pack for $20. Tell me when you get that dimmer. Sorry.
Nope.
There's
Yep.
a little bit of maintenance required on this.
Dimmer's getting grabbed.
But I have used these, and I have used these recently, actually. I used a version of this at least. Oh, it's so sad. All right. Once we get a little dimmer in here. So this is a tungsten bulb. Can anyone tell me what color temperature they think this bulb is going to be? What's that?
Orange.
Orange, yes, orange. Color temperature. So where do you think that would fall in the light spectrum? Remember, we have 1,800 to 10,000?
It's in the thousands on the left side, right?
Yeah, so yeah.
That's all I know.
What helps me know is that on you got your visible light spectrum, and then you've got your infrared, and then you got your ultraviolet. So or ultraviolet, not ultraviolet. Your ultraviolet. So yeah, that's the spectrum I'm usually on, is the ultraviolet sign. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Oh no. So this thing keeps kind of maneuvering around. Let's see if I can get it locked in a good way. You see, you're learning the lesson. You either buy nice or buy twice. So you can make things work with cheaper ways, but you're going to suffer in time usually. That's why when we do the jobs that we do, time is money. So you think like, oh yeah, I've saved like $200 by buying this cheap light. But then every time you set it up, you have to spend 20 minutes setting up this light to get the right look. Now you're saying your time is worth 20 an hour. So how many times of setting that light up until you've made and negated that extra value? Just things to think about when you start thinking about yourself as a creative, that your time and your energy are the two most important things that you can give. So if you're spending an extra 20 minutes and you're shooting 4 to 5 times a week, you know what I mean? That's an hour and 20 minutes of your life that you've given away to this light because you wanted to save a couple $100 instead of just taking it, spending the time to do it. All right, is this ready to strike?
I believe so. You're ready to strike.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right, this is going to hurt. Striking. All right. I apologize. It's real bright.
Crossing points.
So I'm just going to go and kind of change my color temperature a little. But honestly, looks fucking great. $12 bulb. Looks great. And you don't have to use this really fancy dimmer. You can get like a $12 dimmer at Home Depot. But yeah, still looks great. Tungsten's still a vibe. Let me see if I can, I want to adjust this to where I get where I want it. So there. Really beautiful. All right, so now let's get the second part of this little DID concoction going, or DIY. I should not have a podcast. I should not be teaching. But so here we are. English is not my favorite. Ooh, Gavin, what have you done?
What have I done?
Yeah, you know what you did.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. I'll take these away.
There we go. What did you do, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. Everybody
side.
does it. It's all right. All right, so let's shower
Gonna
curtain.
hold some of these. Yes, this is a regular bog standard. Just
use one
shower
of it
curtain.
for now.
Just
Don't
use
double
one.
it.
Yeah, there's just one layer.
Yeah. You have ones.
I do.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit of a walk. Let me.
It's all right,
find
we're
the
fine.
ones. Copy.
So, all right, let's take it and bring it in there. Not too far.
Not too far.
Bring her back a touch. You are in the frame. All right. So, about $30 maybe. Still works. I still use tungsten work lights. I still have like 5 or 6 tungsten work lights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the white ones that you would see at or the orange ones or the red ones or the yellow ones you would see at construction sites. I still use those. I just used those a year and a half ago. And then you can kind of control the up and down on this. One thing I do want you to note, we're gonna lose some stops here of light. We're coming down, but just really watch her face. Like, it's not bright enough, but it gets, I'll go this way for you so I can show it. So remember yesterday last time I was talking about base ISOs. Now I'm changing to 2500 ISO, which is my second base on this camera. So I can come down and watch the color shift. See how it's gotten oranger? It's real subtle, but that's what happens is when you dim these tungsten bulbs, your color temperature goes from around 32 to somewhere around 18, which is really great sometimes if you want like a candle effect, because you can have higher intensity bulbs and you bring them down to a dimmer, and then you kind of do this little thing. It's a little lighting gag, but you get like 3 or 4 of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so you get 3 or 4 of them, and then you kind of mimic like a little fire effect. Some old school things. And the last time I did that was we had 25 700 watt bulbs, or We had 350s, we had 700s or 750s, and we had another one, but we had 23 or 27 of them for the Eminem and Joyner Lucas video when they're in the, he's like in this kind of like cave. It was in the fort. What's that fort down there, Shane?
Right.
Yeah.
Historic Fort Wayne.
Yes. Yeah, so we're in a tunnel there, and yeah, lighting that, but we have basically like a bunch of fixtures, and then we have like, we're not doing this, but we have what's called a shadow box and just doing this. So yeah, you can check it out. It's Eminem and Joyner Lucas, Lucky You. I think that's the one. But yeah, so expensive light, decent light, cheap light. But these are things that you can always be thinking about. And now they make so many like high powered daylight LED bulbs that are actually really good. You can actually even start using some of those. I like tungsten just because of the quality that it gives. Sometimes, I wish I could light a movie all tungsten, but unfortunately we just ain't got the cake for that because it takes a lot of power. That light right here, full up. This is about 150 watts. This whole thing right here, it's called a 360, so it's about 300 watts. But here's the intensity that you get out of this. Kathleen, you're going to have to forgive me for this.
Mine?
But, oh no. And let me make sure this is full up. Yeah, that's at 23%, which is absolutely insane. So this is the type of power and efficient. Here, I'm so sorry. You're going to get the full brunt of this little tungsten bulb too. I have blue eyes, so I know what I'm doing to you. But, and then we'll go here just to help you see what the hell's going on. Oh, I got to change my base. I almost did the no-no. I almost changed without changing my base. But see how much brighter 360 watts is versus 150 watts. It's actually not as bad as I thought then. See? But there is a little bit of a difference. But this is, going to be more power draw. But if you have like a bigger one that's 750, you'll get a little bit more punch out of it, but you won't get here. It's not an accurate comparison. I wish I had like give me that ADC.
You want the ADC?
Yeah, that's
Copy
probably
that.
a little bit more accurate because this is double the intensity. That's not too bad right there, is it? Cool.
Let me find where that little 80's hiding. I see him.
Guys, now I'm just pretty much freestyling this. If you guys have any questions, feel free.
Strike?
Does anyone?
Do you want the spot?
No, I want it just raw.
Just raw.
Just
Copy
to
that.
show.
Mine.
So this is probably closer to that light. And so this is at 15%. What do we do? What is going on? What have I done? I got into a secret menu. But yeah, so 150 watts, 150 watts. Now what's cool about this is I can touch that. That's a cool effect. We got to remember that.
Oh yeah, just tap the light.
Yeah. I've actually, but yeah, if you touch this, that hurts. It's one of my favorite tricks to do with this is, I don't have a soft source, you know what I mean? You literally could just take, say she was in a better position, but I've literally bounced things like right off the wall. You know what I mean? And you can do that. Say this wall was closer, or let's say the wall was here. We have a black ceiling, so that's not going to work. But I've literally bounced lights off walls before. You know what I mean? So now you got a big, huge, soft source. You know what I mean? So always thinking about ways that you can improve upon things with what you've got. All right, come on.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any other?
Hit me. I know you guys got them.
Thoughts?
That's it? Anybody want to touch anything? You want to ever just go? Oh, yeah, you got one back. What's up, Theo?
Would it be possible to see a butterfly setup?
Oh, you
Sure.
want to see a butterfly? Yeah, sure. Let's
We
do
could
it.
do that with
We
the
got time.
21, right?
Yep, I'm going to,
Yeah.
I'm going to need
Just-
some hands on this one.
Look at that little
Everyone's job is safety.
Yes, safety is everybody's job.
So let's go even higher with that, can we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just locking this in before I come down, or before I go up.
Yeah, so let's go almost directly behind the camera, I think.
Directly behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Copy that.
All right. You ready to see what we've created? I am too, actually.
All right. Striking.
Whoa,
Ooh,
shit.
Okay.
See, that's bright.
Sure is. What are we at? It's only
Close?
57%.
But let's go down. That's at 57%.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tell me when it's bearable again.
For me?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. Okay.
That's good.
That's
It's
about a stop down.
but you see kind of, what's the color? Oh, yeah, we're going to go color. I'm going to change my color temp here.
Because we're at 5,000.
But you see what I mean about butterfly? That's like soft, beautiful. You've seen this look. You've seen this on every like model, like on every L'Oreal commercial. It's the top over butterfly look. It's a beautiful soft source. You see, you've got just a little bit of contrast. Could you pull your hair back a little? Yeah. And then, but yeah, you see, she's got just a little bit of shadow there, but see, her cheeks are there. I think I could probably maybe even take this. Let me just go here. I don't like that. Let me see, actually. Oh, no, I do love it. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, it really is. So if this is another thing where that won't do it justice, but if you see what this camera sees, you're like, yeah, I've done my job. They're going to call me again. I'm going to make lots of money. But yeah, so feel free to come check out kind of what this is doing. But yeah, gorgeous lighting. Butterfly lighting, soft lighting. She's got a little bit of contrast. But yeah, check it out in that viewfinder, the difference. Yeah, it's Maybelline. Now, we've talked about camera a lot, and everybody always pays attention to camera. I don't care how good your movie looks. If you don't have good sound, I will walk out of the theater. I will look you in the face, and I'm like, this is your fault. Seriously. So, like, the next class is more important than these two classes, in my opinion. Like, because, like, they will, like, when you're first starting, if you have bad audio, people will walk out, or you will make them so uncomfortable that your message doesn't get across. So we're going to have Ryan Cunningham 2 weeks from now, and then the following week we'll have Seamus McMurphy, also known as Shane McMurphy. But he's been a good friend of mine. He works so much in the industry, and you see how I didn't know something, and so I asked a peer. That's the industry. It is not a competition. It is, hey, I saw that you solved this problem. How do you solve this problem? Or, hey, I don't know how to solve this problem. Do you have an idea? So that's the kind of industry that we're at least trying to build, is one where, you know, me and Shane, technically, we compete for the same jobs. Like we do. And sometimes he's won them, sometimes I haven't. Or sometimes I haven't been available and he's done it. Or the same thing is like, hey, I'm not available. Can you shoot this for me? You know what I mean? So these are just ways that when I say look to your left, look to your right, these are the people. These are the people that matters. And I know it's really hard sometimes when you're in that feast and famine mentality, especially the way the world is. But like, rely on each other, collaborate with each other, give each other their flowers, clap for each other when they were successful, because that's important. You know what I mean? I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I want Shane to do it for the rest of his life. Thanks, brother. All right, that's a cut.